Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up a community in 10, 12 steps. It's a very easy and straightforward process and you can basically get your community started in a matter of minutes. So I'm just gonna guide you through the steps. And the first step you'll see, the first step you'll have to take is this step in which you have to actually create a community. So I'll drop a link down this video down below. And with that link, you'll be taken to the Skool platform. And on the Skool platform, you will see this screen first, where you can browse a little bit through some of the communities that have already been really successful. A lot of different types of communities. Like there's many different categories, but even within those categories, there are subcategories, and like everyone has their own niche, and it's really amazing how many different types of communities there are. So it's very much about giving what you have to offer, but also using each other's knowledge. And so you're basically, like with your own community, you're providing a lot of value, but there's also a lot of value out there for you. So in a lot of cases, a lot of times that's free. Sometimes it's paid, but even by just joining the platform, there's so much value out there that this is something you would be really interested in seeing. So to set up a community, you start with creating the community. And the first step you need to take is to decide whether you want to start off with a hobby or a pro plan. Now, the hobby plan is basically all you need at the beginning. So I'd recommend to just start with a hobby plan, and you can always decide to upgrade to a pro plan. But regardless of the plan you're choosing, you can always change it. So whether you start with a hobby or a pro plan, you can always up or downgrade. And what's also important to mention, so let's say if we create a hobby plan, you'll be able to have a 14-day trial. So by just filling in your group name and your payment details, you basically get started today. So you start by creating this community. You have a 14-day free trial, and you can decide within those 14 days whether you want to continue with the community or not. And even if you don't continue with the community, you can still make use of the platform. But if you really want to start building your own community, it's great to actually have that 2-week time in which you can look around and see what's working. So what you basically have to do is to fill in your group name, which you can always change. So don't worry too much about that. Let's just call it your community. And then you need to fill in your payment details, which is an important step. It's an easy step, but it's important to know that in order to get paid, in order to be well, let's say verified as the real person hosting that community, you need to make sure that in this step, the payment details you're providing are going to be the same details as you're going to use for your personal profile. So this is also to prevent any bots or any fake accounts or any people who, I don't know, wanna be difficult or trying to do weird things, to prevent them as much as possible from joining the platform. So once you have filled in your payment details and the group name, you can just hit start free trial and you'll be taken to the platform right away. What you might notice straight away is that I didn't have to fill in my personal details, so I didn't have to create my personal profile, which is because I already had a profile. So if you already have a profile, but you're starting to create your community, you don't have to do that again. But if you didn't, the step that you did that you won't see in this video, because this is a new community after already having created my personal profile. So the step you won't see is the one in which you actually have to provide your personal details. So when you start your community and you fill in your payment details, just make sure it's you, like the payment method actually represents you, because you are the one who wants to get paid once your community is set up and once you can start earning money with it. So just make sure that you remember that, because if you don't, you might end up having a bit of difficulty in maybe somehow sorting that out with support, but I would just prevent not getting into any issues like that. So after you have completed your personal profile, you will end up on this main tab of your community. So in the main tab of your community, you'll see that you can write something. So this basically means the first post. Here in the to-do list, you also see the write your first post. So if you either click here or here, it will take you to this first post in which you can basically introduce yourself or talk a little bit about the community. You can add whatever you want to do here. And you can add your pictures, your images. You can add links, videos. You can do polls, add emojis. You can also add categories. So once your community is set up, you can add categories in order to make your feed, your community a little bit more organized. And then whenever you're ready, you can just post it. This is all quite easy, quite simple. It's really straightforward. But what I want to show you is to basically set up your community with all the basics that you need in order to get going. And once you have that foundation, once those first steps are taken, you can really learn a lot by just being on the platform, joining other communities, engaging with a lot of people, asking questions, and basically just learn by doing, and don't be afraid to not know everything from the very beginning, because it's okay that it takes a little bit of time to get to know the platform, but it's super user friendly. It's really easy to use. And what's really amazing about this platform is that all the community owners, so whenever you have created a community like we just did, there is a Schoolers community. So the Schoolers community is basically for all the school owners. So all the owners of communities, everyone who has started a community is automatically part of this community. So in this community, everyone is asking questions. Everyone is asking, how do I do this? How do I do this? How does this work? How does that work? And it's a great way to find people, like to get to know people and to learn from each other. And here, a school group for pain. What are your financial or community goals on school? There's so many different things to learn here. And especially at the beginning, like even by just searching for stuff here, like if you would look for games, for instance, then it gives you all sorts of threads that have been started already by others about in this case games. So there's a lot of gamification possible on the platform. So by just searching for that, seeing what other people have already talked about, you can learn a lot, and that makes your time on the platform so much easier, because there's no need to figure out everything by yourself. And if you do want to do that, still, don't be afraid to ask whatever it is that you need, because you're going to get an answer to it, 100%. So if we go back to your community, we're going to walk through these different steps, in order for you to know what it takes to set up your first community. So, before I start, you might have noticed that there is a little notification icon there. And it's saying that I have 17 notifications. Now, it won't show 17 notifications if you just started your first community, because there's nothing going on, really. The reason that this is showing there is because I have another community here. And I created this test community for the sake of this video with the same profile. So this is my profile, and because I'm still on this account, it's gonna show these notifications, and the same will happen with the messages. So just for you to know, this is actually really easy, because whenever someone is commenting on whatever you've posted, or whenever a person you are following or a post you are following gets updated, you get a notification. You can manage those notifications, so don't worry, you won't get spammed or overwhelmed by all the notifications. You can basically set it up in the order or in the way you you prefer. So as you can see, I now have 80 notifications, and this is gonna probably continue to change. So just don't look at this too much. So the next step we're gonna look at is the classroom, because the community you're going to build might include a lot of information, or a lot of maybe courses, online courses, or maybe you want to provide certain value through videos, or through PDF files, or guides, or like it really can be anything. But what I want to emphasize is that you're not limited to the classroom. So the classroom is a great feature to showcase everything you want, but there's other ways. It's just a very common way to provide some content, provide some information. So you can give your course or whatever it is that you're adding here. It used to be called module, so let's just think of it as a module, which can be a course or any other type of valuable information with a course description, which you can basically make available to anyone. Or you can say, because there's a lot of gamification, I'll talk about it a little bit later in this video. There's a lot of gamification which enables you to say, okay, if someone is really active, if someone has taken these steps, and if someone has been active for, let's say, some time, or like expressed in points basically, then I want someone to be able to see this content, because otherwise people might join and they can see everything you're providing, but they don't really put any effort in taking part in the community, right? In contributing to the community and becoming part of the community. So the level unlock option is a great way to encourage all the members of the community to actually participate. Another one is to actually have people pay for it, which you can do with a one-time payment. You can also say everyone gets access to this after a certain period of time. So if you first want everyone to be a member for a year, or shorter or longer, this is a great option. And you can also just say, I only want certain members to have access to this, and other members don't have that yet. So this would be the more manual option to manage your course. So you can upload a cover image, and in order to see what's inside the course, we're just gonna add something here. So, and then basically we're just gonna edit, and it will be published straight away, but you can also choose to keep it as a draft. For now, I'll just publish it. And then it's gonna be available in the classroom. So you're going right into the course, but if you go back to the classroom, it's basically here. So if this is not locked with a price, or because you put it on private or whatever, this is gonna be available by everyone who's gonna join your community. But for now, that's not really relevant, because there's nothing in there anyway. So you can edit all these pages just by simply clicking there and adding either images or videos or links. You can play around a little bit with the formatting, with the layout. You can add folders and pages. So basically, if you say, I want to have a few pages in the welcome folder, you just add a folder and you say, okay, this page is going to go in there. And then you can just make it really easy. Like, you can duplicate this page and it's going to be in there automatically. And if you don't want to have it in there, you can just drop it out. So this is basically the classroom, and there's a lot possible here. So if you really want more information about the classroom and how to use it and what the best practices are, please let me know in the comments, because if you really want to know more about the classroom, I will create another video about it, but I think it's not the most relevant feature of the platform, because the community itself is sometimes the place where, or sometimes I would rather say often, where the real value is added. So all the content you're providing there is really, really important, but I would say the community comes first. So start with building the community, and everything you can add and provide in the classroom comes second. Anyway, if you do want to have more information about the classroom, just let me know and we'll create a video about that too. Okay, so from the classroom, we're gonna go into the calendar. Now, there won't be any events there yet because obviously we just started the community and there's nothing going on yet, but you can add all sorts of fun formats, or you can just create your own event. So you can basically do anything there. You can add Zoom links, Google links. You can basically create all sorts of networking events. Also, sharing that with the people you want to share it with. You can also make it publicly available to your whole community. That's totally up to you. So that's basically the calendar, and it's a great way to encourage people to actually participate in the community, because if they know there's going to be an event and you keep reminding them of that, then they are quite likely to be excited about that. I mean, if you approach it in the right way and people actually want to get to know about you, or they actually want to make use of whatever it is that you're going to provide, like super useful information, or you're gonna tell about your story and how it was transformative, or whatever. You can think of that yourself. But this calendar option is really great. I think it's really underestimated what you can do with this. But there's not much to explain about it because it's basically like any calendar. It's just really powerful when you use it in a way that the community actually gets incentivized by using it. All right, so we have looked at basically half of the community now. It's really easy to use, really user friendly. So we're just gonna have a look at the members, but there won't be any members in there apart from myself, of course. So this is basically my profile. So my other community is called Clues. Feel free to check it out. You'll see all the members that have either cancelled or have churned, or the ones you have banned, or maybe that Skool has banned because of whatever they did on your profile, or sorry, in your community or in other communities. I mean, sometimes people just need to get banned. And here you'll see an overview of all the people in your community, which is quite nice, because once your community is growing, you kind of want to know who is inside the community, and you can just filter on whatever it is that you're looking for. What I find really useful as well is to occasionally export the list of members, because it enables you to keep track of even with a small community. It's just good to have that. Because if you wanna keep things organized, or if you want to have an overview of things, then just doing this simple export enables you to not, I don't know, have to write down all the names, or whenever someone joined, like it will all be done for you in a simple CSV file. All right, so from members, we're gonna move on to the map, and the map is awesome. The reason why is because once you have members from all over the world, because Skool is used by members, by people from all over the world, you get to see in one overview, in one map view, where your followers, where your members are, which is really great, because sometimes when you need information about something, or when you are looking for something really specific that might be related to a certain country, or I don't know, a religion or whatever. So if you know I'm looking for something that is super common in India, and you happen to have people who are either from India or people who are based in India, make use of this feature and just see the map, see for yourself that there is someone in India, and you can actually reach out, and that might be a really easy way to get what you're looking for. So in this case, if I click on my own pin, I'll just see my profile, and you can also see that you can change the location. So what might be good to mention is that you can't really rely on these locations, because you can basically decide which location you are in. So if you want to be in Kazakhstan, you can be Kazakhstan, and people might think you're in Kazakhstan. So don't think it's 100% accurate, but generally what I've found so far is that people say where they are. So basically just try to think of this map as a really useful tool. And I find it really exciting, because I started Clues like 3 weeks ago, I guess. And I have literally gotten to know people from all over the world, but I've also gotten to know members in the community from all over the world. So there's people from North America, South America. I don't think I've anyone seen joining from Africa yet. Europe, definitely. Asia, Oceania, Australia, New Zealand. Yes, 100%. So I think that's really good because it's amazing to learn a lot from people from all sorts of backgrounds with different perspectives, and it adds a lot to the experience. So make use of this. Highly recommend it. So we'll go to the leaderboards, and this requires a bit of attention because Skool is a really good example of what a platform should look like in terms of gamification. Skool is basically encouraging everyone to be on the platform as much as possible, or at least to be as active as much as possible, to be out there and to engage with the other members of the community and to learn from each other and to reach out. And one of the best ways to explain that is basically with this leaderboard, which is different for every community. So in this community, this is the leaderboard, but in another community, this leaderboard will look different because the level you have and the points you have accumulated depend on the community. So if I have, so here you have an overview. If I have 65 points in one community, it doesn't mean that I have 65 points in every other community. I still need to gain those 65 points in other communities. So what's really common, once you start to engage in the Schoolers community, the one here on the left, is that you're leveling up quite quickly because it doesn't require too much to, let's say, get 5 points, because that basically means you comment on a post and 5 people like it and you got to level 2. So that's really, really easy. But if there's nothing going on in your community and nothing is liking what you're doing, because you get these points by, what does it say? When other members like your posts or comments. So other people need to like your posts or comments. So at the beginning, when there's no one in your community, you can't really get any points. So don't worry about that, but just be mindful of starting all over again from level 1 without any points in every community. But this is really, really great because this is a really powerful way to motivate and encourage your members to actually be active and to be there, to engage and to help each other out. Because once they do, you can give all the levels a name. You can basically say, well, when you're level 1, you're not a winner, of course. Let's just say loser. But then if you say level 5, then you're a winner. For example, this is just an example. Don't take this too seriously. Then it will actually show and everyone is going to see this. It's a bit slow. But the thing is, so here it says loser, and you can also add a little bit more visual aspects to this. But it will basically show to everyone that if you're still level 1, you're a loser, and when you got to level 5, you're a winner. But of course, you need to make sure that people actually want to level up and want to take those steps. And what is even more interesting about this is that what I've shown you earlier in the classroom regarding courses is that in this leaderboard, you can also show what people get, what people unlock when they get to a certain level. So if you have a course on topic A, you can basically say here, unlock course topic A when you reach level 5. And that's a really, really great way. This has worked for many different people on the platform to basically want to get there, because you're like, oh, I want to have that, right? Like, it's not so much FOMO, but it's a way to incentivize and to encourage everyone to make the most out of the community and to actually do something because you joined for a reason. So I'll talk a little bit more about gamification later on, but for now, this is the leaderboard for this specific community. and we'll head over to the about section. Because in the about section, in the about page, you're basically talking about your community. And you can do this by adding some pictures and videos. Video is highly recommended because it's basically showing who you are, what you have to offer, why you're offering what you're offering, how you're offering that, and basically really introducing yourself and making sure that the right people actually join your group. So you can add a description as well. You can add some text here. And this is really important because once you start engaging with people in other communities, like the Schoolers community, people are gonna look for your profile. And once they're on your profile, so that would be, that would be here, like on your profile, they're gonna look at your community as well. And if they like what they're seeing on your about page, which is basically your invitation, your business card, or whatever you want to call it, they want to join. So if this looks like you're gonna get very little attention, and people are not gonna like it. But if this looks great, if this is awesome, and this is what people triggers and what people makes curious, people are gonna join and people are gonna hop aboard. So make sure this about page is really spot on. You can continue to fine tune this, like you can always change it, and that's also highly recommended to just see this as a living, dynamic organism, something that continues to evolve and something that continues to develop over time. Just make sure that this is something you really master, because this is a really important part of the success of your community. All right, so from the about page, we can basically still do a few things within the community itself. So let's first head to this little button here. Here you can see, so I'm following a couple of communities, and you can also create another community here if you want to. You can discover communities, which is great because this is actually showing you which other communities there are, which is a lot, about 172,000 at the moment, I think. And it's also something you want to end up in, because imagine that let's say you're looking for something related to self-improvement, and you are here, like you're at the very top of self-improvement. Imagine all the people looking for self-improvement and your community shows there. That's automatically going to lead to a lot of attention, a lot of people wanting to know more about that. So making sure that you're ranking high within this discovery feature of the platform can help a lot. So back to the community itself. I want to show you a little bit about the settings. Now, what I want to point out to is that there's two different types of settings, because we just created a community, and in the community there are settings. So this will be your community settings. But if you head to your profile, you also have profile settings. So we'll focus on the community settings for this video. And if you need more information about profile settings, please let me know in the comments and we'll dive into that a little bit deeper in another video. So your community settings are basically showing, I mean, it's not showing much, but in this first dashboard, it's showing how many people have subscribed, like your paid members, what your revenue is, how many people churned, but also how many people visited your about page. And if this number is really high, but no one signs up, your conversion rate is going to be shit. And your conversion rate being is going to result in a low discoverability. So you need to make sure that your about page is really spot on, so that people sign up and your conversion rate is high, in order for you to show and to rank high in the discoverability. Because if you head over to the bottom here at discovery, you get a bit of explanation about the discoverability. So it's not ranked at the moment because there's nothing in there, so there's nothing really to assess, nothing to think too much about it. But it's explaining how you can rank, or rank high or not. And if you don't really care about it, sure, that's fine. But if you do, just make sure that you play the game, basically, because if you do so, it's gonna help a lot with being seen, with being discovered on the platform. So it depends a little bit on where you get your traffic from, because if you get your traffic from outside of the community, maybe this is not as important, but still, what if you already have traffic from other platforms, but you can add more traffic from the platform itself? That's a win-win, right? So I would always recommend to make use of this as much as possible. But let's go back to the top. Let's go back to the dashboard. You can have trials, but that's also a topic for another video because that's not really relevant for now. So basically people can join your community without paying yet, but they can do a 7 or a 14-day trial before they actually join and start paying. Now you can invite other members. This is also for another time because this is a very interesting topic, a very interesting way to earn a bit of money on the side, or perhaps you can make a full-time income out of it. That's also very possible. A lot of people have done that. It's like affiliate marketing basically. Your general settings are basically about the icon of your community, which is going to show everywhere. So this is important. The cover, also important because if this doesn't look that well, people might be like, oh, if this doesn't look well, yeah, the community is probably not looking that well either. So just make sure it looks good. On a pro plan, because we're on a hobby plan now, on a pro plan, you'll be able to change your link. So you can basically get rid of this and just have your name there or whatever you want. Like if your community is about, I don't know, crypto, you can say skool.com/crypto, which is quite cool, but depends on how you want to be defined, of course. You can choose whether you want your community to be private or public. And this basically means that if people are looking for your community, they will either see everything. So if your settings are public, when someone goes to your community, they will see everything inside the community. If it's set on private, they will only see the about page. I always recommend to use the private setting because otherwise people can join and, or no, actually, people can join, but what they can also do is see everything and then decide, okay, I've seen everything, I'm not interested, so whatever, never mind. Whilst if it's private and it's not publicly visible, people might wonder, like, hey, what's inside this community? I actually want to know more about it. So that gives a little bit more time and room for you to still develop on what you're working on in your community. But it totally depends. Like some people deliberately have everything public because they are like, just look at it, and if you don't like it, please don't come back, right? So just depends on your approach, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot of settings. This is your payouts. So whenever you start earning money, there will be account balance here showing what you'll get paid. These are the pricing options. So at the moment we have a free community set up, but you can add prices. This is actually gonna change because there's gonna be a subscription option here. So you're basically gonna be able to have people subscribe to be part of like a specific part of your community. So the community as a whole can be free, but people can decide to pay like so you have like a free option, and within the community you also have the option to have people pay. So that's also going to be related to another feature in the nearby future, but I'm not going to say too much about that yet because I can't say anything about what is not there yet, right? So this is what it is right now, which is a lot because you can have many different options, but it's going to be even more. So there's going to be more ways to price your community and to also think of the strategy that you want to apply to having people join your community. So this is really, really great. This is awesome. And this is also the option where you say, give me a trial. Now this is another affiliate marketing. This is also only available on the Pro plan. Plugins, here it's also saying on the Pro plan you have much more possibilities, but these possibilities are not bad either. These are your tabs, so you can basically say whether you want them off. They're all on at the moment, but I guess for some communities it's not really relevant to have them on, so great that you can turn them off. These are the categories that I was talking about earlier. So if you want to have another category about updates, for instance, you can just add it here, or you want to you want to have conversations about a certain topic, you can just make sure that whenever you post about it, that it's all labeled under that category. You have community rules, which shouldn't be needed, but if you have the rules and people don't live up to them, you can basically say, well, these are the rules, so I don't want you in this community, so you can leave. So I don't really do much with it, but it depends, I guess. Like if you have a really big community, it might be interesting, or it might be worth it to think of that a little bit in order to be able to manage everything, because there might be some moments where you think, yeah, I can't say much about it because it wasn't clear what the rules were. But if you have outlined them specifically, and you've also notified everyone about it, then yeah, at least that's clear for all the members. Now, this is something we have already looked at, the discovery. Your metrics will show how active your members are. So you will see the total amount of members. So generally this is going up and up and up. And the activity will show how many of them will actually be active. So how many of them will actually log in on the platform and actually do something on the platform. Here you have an overview of everything that happens. So with these colors, it's basically showing whether there's a lot of activity or not so much activity. But I wouldn't focus too much on this, because this is automatically gonna increase, because the amount of members has a really big impact on this. Because if you have 2 members who are saying 1 or 2 things on a day, of course there's not a lot of activity. But if you have 10 members and they are saying 1 or 2 things on a day, well, you get the point. Now, your billing options, this is basically just the payment method that we use to pay for this subscription. You also see that it's a 14-day free trial. You can update your payment method or manage your subscription, so you can cancel within the 14 days, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to cancel because it's a really, really great platform. So once more, I would like to introduce you to start your own community and to basically start building, to basically start your journey here on Skool. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me, feel free to leave a comment, and also feel free to ask questions on the platform, because once you're on the platform and once you start engaging with the people on the platform, you'll find that there's a lot of information on there and that it doesn't require you to figure it all out. So if you wanna get started building your community today, if you want to get started to earn with your community, to earn and learn, and to basically grow your own passion, and to help others with that, to transform lives with that, I would highly recommend to join Skool. I'm looking forward to see you there. And just remember that the link to join is down below this video. And if you have any other questions about it, please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you there. Let's start schooling.